In people, and welcome back to Gav Goes In. Premier League football back. Mad night of Champions League, boy. Mad night. Obviously, Real Madrid getting beat 4-2, to Benfica. Jose Mourinho coming back to haunt his former club. And what's actually funny? There were so many games that were being played. I mean, all the games were on, and I think I was flicking between the PSG Newcastle and then a little bit of the Barcelona game. And then literally I thought, you know what, let me just go to the Benfica Real Madrid, because I think that was the only game I believe that was still playing. And then it's crazy, man, because 3-2 up, obviously Benfica didn't realise that they had to get another goal to qualify. And, obviously the foul that was made by Bellingham, again, you guys know my thoughts on Jude Bellingham. I don't rate him one bit. But again, you have to be consistent and you have to be honest. It wasn't a foul by Bellingham. He clearly won the ball. But then ref gave the free kick. But you know what it was? The ball in and the header from Anatoly Trubin, man. What a header. And obviously that saw Benfica go through, man. So, mad night of Champions League football. And the knockout stages, man, this is what it's all about. I think the group games have been very good. I think in terms of the new format, it's quite exciting to see a lot of the top teams play each other. So obviously they would only be meeting each other really in the latter stages. But the fact that they played each other earlier on is a good thing. And what I would say, man, I think these knockout games now is where it really matters. And even Arsenal, Arsenal doing, I'm not sure if it's a record, Arsenal done 8 out of 8. I'm not sure if it's a competition record or if it's a record for Arsenal, but winning 8 out of 8, is good. It's mad. But again, we're gonna see what Arsenal can do when it comes to them playing against the when it comes to knockout stages, man, because this is where it matters. But yeah, mad night of Champions League football, and let's hope United can get back into their next season. Big up to Fitz, big up my guy each and every time. Big up yourself. I hope you're well as well. So yeah, let's hope Man United can get back into there through obviously Champions League, which obviously brings us on nicely to the game against Fulham on Sunday, 2:00 kickoff. For me, what I'm actually excited to be a Man United fan, to be honest with you right now, because the way Michael Carrick has come in, over his last couple of games. And again, I'm not going to jump the gun because, football has a very funny way of just surprising you. So what I would say, man, is, we have to be positive in the fact that, Carrick's just come to this team, the way he set us up, the better football that we're seeing as well. And I think there's a lot more to come from Michael Carrick. And I think, for me, this window, obviously, there's a couple of days left. I think there's, 3 days left or something to the end of the window. Again, it'll be good, man, if Man United can do some business, But I think if we're honest, it's only going to be likely to be, probably a loan deal. There's been talk about Wilfred Ndidi. There's been talk about Loftus-Cheek. Personally, I wouldn't mind Loftus-Cheek. I think Loftus-Cheek, would provide something for this team, in my opinion. But yeah, I think we have to see what happens. But yeah, I think in terms of the last 2 games against City and Arsenal, I think definitely against City, for me, City was a very good performance, dominant display. And I think against Arsenal, I don't think we was as good as we was against City. But what I would say, man, things are looking up. Things are looking up. Big up to Hannah Malcolm. Big up for coming through. First time on there. Big up yourselves. Big up to Mamba as well. Arsenal fan. Finally coming there for his lashes. But yeah, no, listen. Big up for coming through. Before City match, United was 500-1 for the league. 2 games later, City 6-1. Yeah, big up Fitz, man. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, if we beat Fulham on Sunday, we go 5 points behind Aston Villa. But I believe Aston Villa playing on, I think Aston Villa are actually playing Sunday as well. So yeah, by the time they play, he might be that. But yeah, big up to Mason Fernal as well from South Africa. South Africa in the building. Big up. But yeah, I think by the time Aston Villa are playing, I think Villa are playing on Sunday. You know, we could be 5 points behind Villa, and again, there's no sort of talk about title because I think that's just pushing it too far. But you never know, man. If we just keep putting wins in a row, you never know how far we can end up. You know, and at this moment in time, we're about. So we're about, is it like 10 or something points or something like that away from Arsenal? I'm not going to say we're going to catch Arsenal because that would mean, you know, them dropping a hell of a lot of points, even though I do think they will drop points. But we just have to just keep putting wins on the board, man. And I think we can do that 100%. So, yeah, what I would say, man, it's just one of them things. We just got to take one game at a time. You know, we've definitely got the squad to be getting in the Champions League this season, regardless of what many might say. You know, one game a week. I know there's been Patrick Dorgu. Obviously, he's picked up the injury and he's out for about 10 weeks, which is a massive blow because obviously he's been one of the informed players, you know, in the league over the last few games. But yeah, no, we have to just pick up some points, man. And I think this game against Fulham on Sunday is going to be a difficult game. You know, they've arguably got I would say the most informed player in the league right now in Harry Wilson. You know, and obviously he's going to fancy his chances as well. Big up to Lumi Rain as well. So yeah, I think yeah, he's arguably the most informed player in the league right now. I think what's he got? I think I wrote it down actually. So yeah, Harry Wilson's got 5 GA in his last 5 games, and he's got 8 Premier League goals. You know, so again, man, it's not going to be easy. But what I would say, man, the way that we've been setting up over the last 2 games, again, I don't think Carrick is going to set up in the same way for me. I think Carrick, and I think he has to. I think he has to kind of change the lineup. You know, I don't personally want to see Mbeumo play through the middle again. I think against Arsenal and City it worked because United played a bit more on the counter and obviously used his pace. And I know obviously, you know, Mbeumo got a couple of goals against both teams, you know, but, you know, I prefer to see a normal central striker play there. But again, it's going to be dependent on what Carrick does, because the thing is with Carrick, I don't actually think he start. I don't actually. Oh, good finish. Sorry, just watching Salzburg versus Villa, 2-0 Salzburg. Because the thing with me, I don't actually know if Carrick rates Benjamin Sesko like that. You know, and obviously if you've watched Carrick's career, even at Middlesbrough, when he first come to United as well, you know, he didn't really play with a natural striker. You know, he likes to play the false 9 in a sense. So this is why I do believe he'll like what's his name, Joshua Zirkzee. And I think Zirkzee's back in training now, so he'll be on the bench, of course. You know, he ain't gonna start, but it's gonna be interesting to see what Carrick does, because I'll be honest with you, yeah, I'll probably be a bit disappointed if he does play Mbeumo through the middle, because I think at home, you know, I think we do have to play a central striker, you know. So even though Zirkzee's not going to start the game, you know, you'd probably like to see Sesko start the game, if anything, you know. And yeah, for me, you know, I'm going to go through the lineup now and what I think he does. And as I said, I think yeah, I just got a feeling he's going to play a central striker, whether it be Sesko or maybe Cunha through the middle, you know. But obviously, because of the Dorgu injury, who's been playing as a winger, you know, there's a slot there for Cunha just to step into. And the thing is, Cunha's definitely going to start, but I just wonder whether Carrick plays Cunha as a false 9 or plays him on the left with the void that's been left through. That's been left from, what's his name? Yeah, from the void that's been left from Patrick Dorgu, you know. So this game against Fulham, so the lineup I think he's going to go with, Obviously, Lamens will be in goal. I think the back four, he probably keeps it. The back four have won 2 games out of 2 under Carrick. I still have my reservations for this back four. I don't think this is our back four by a long mile. I think again Mazraoui, for me should be ahead of Dallo. Luke Shaw did play well against Arsenal last game, but is there any longevity to Luke Shaw for next season? Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez, again, both of them have had very good games against City and Arsenal. And again, this is what I'm trying to say. The way that Carrick sets this team up, it does help Maguire and Lisandro. The problems that those two have is if the team wants to be a bit more expansive. And I think against Fulham, we kind of have to be that, because, as I said, I'll be disappointed to see the team set up that way, the way they've done against City and Arsenal, knowing that we're going to be at home and knowing that we should be taking the game to Fulham. Because I think against City and Arsenal, I think many fans would have thought to themselves, they'll be lucky to pick up a point, in my opinion, so before the game was played. But I think the fact that we've picked up 6 points and now we've got Fulham at home, I think we have to go and take the game to Fulham. And that will start with me with playing a bit more expansive. But again, if you play a bit more expansive, it just means that you're going to leave a bit of gaps at the back. And this is where I think Harry Maguire and Lisandro kind of struggle because they haven't got the pace. But just based on that, I think he plays both of them. I think he plays Lisandro and Maguire. Kobe and Casemiro, I think they'll start again, definitely in the midfield. Bruno will play in the 10. And then it's the strike force, really, because obviously Dorgu's out injured. Cunha's going to come back in. But does he go with an Ahmad, Cunha, and Mbeumo front three? This is the problem. This is the thing, because, it'll be easy to say, keep a winning team and just play Cunha where Dorgu's been playing and keep Mbeumo through the middle. And I think he might actually do that. But for me, as I said, if Xerxes was fit enough, I'd love to see Xerxes in that false 9 with a Cunha, Ahmad or Mbeumo either side. Because I think what is important to realise as well, although Mbeumo has got the 2 goals, Mbeumo hasn't been great, really, in either game. But with Mbeumo, he's clinical. And as Simon said, Sesko should play. Yeah, I think this game, I would play Sesko because I think we need to go and impose ourselves on Fulham, and give them something to think about. And we're going to go through Fulham's team as well. And there's a reason why I believe that why we need to play probably a central striker, because I'm looking at Fulham's backline and, although Mbeumo, as I said, has got a couple of goals in the last couple of games, Man United for me are going to need to kind of link the play. I don't think it's going to work with, the counter-attacking approach, in my opinion, because they have got, they have got players in Fulham's team that have got pace. And again, we're going to go through Fulham's team. So the front three for me, I'd play Sesko, and then I'd play Cunha on the left, and I would play Ahmad on the right. Personally, that's what I would do. If you're going to play that front three. Again, you guys know, what team I would play if it was down to me. But I think we have to be realistic and just think to ourselves, there's no point even going on to that. We might just go with the team that we think that Carrick's going to play. But I think because Mbeumo's got the 2 goals, I think that might push him into contention to start again. But as I said, I don't think Mbeumo's been great. I just think that he's got a couple of goals. And, yeah, it's one of them things where... he could obviously stake a claim to start, really. So I wouldn't be surprised if Carrick doesn't change too much. Dorgu being out, he might just bring Cunha in and keep the team how it is. So we'll have to wait and see. But let me go through your questions and comments, guys, and then I'll go through the Fulham team, because there's a reason why I think personally, a central striker more or less has to play because of what Fulham have. But big up yourselves. Make sure you're smashing the likes. There's 13 of you. and it's 8 likes, guys. Let's try and hit 10 as a minimum. And again, make sure you sub to the channel if you're new in here. Make sure you share the channel and make sure you smash the like buttons as well. So let's go through this. Let's see this. Can we talk about who won the Champions League table? Yeah, listen, let's move past that because it means nothing. Yeah, you guys won 8 games out of 8, but yeah, listen, the real games begin now. Yeah, got a nice 50 million bonus for finishing top. Yeah, but that means nothing. You guys are getting a 50 million bonus, you know, because you guys bought Gyökeres. So, yeah, it means nothing. I mean, I can't... Can you trust Arteta to go and buy the correct players with a 50 million bonus? Because I can't, you know. Big up to Christopher McGrath as well. Big up. Well, good evening. Big up to Simon. Says, will Heaven be playing? You know what it is, yeah, with Heaven and Lenny Yoro? Yeah, what I would say is, I believe Heaven and Yoro... I'm looking at them more for next season because I think the situation that Man United find themselves right now, and let's not forget Matthias de Ligt still to come back as well. I think because Yoro and Heaven are 2 young centre-backs and, you know, Yoro's been under pressure this season, I actually think Heaven's done very well. But I think because Carrick is trying to... I would say probably impress the hierarchy in terms of being given the job for next season, you know, or even if he doesn't get the job, you know, trying to impress other suitors. I personally think that it's probably more of a case of, where he's probably going to go for the tried and tested, which is why I think between Lissandro, Maguire and de Ligt, I think them guys are going to play the majority of the games until the end of the season. 1 game a week. So I think you're going to see Yoro and Heaven, unless there's any injuries, them guys will probably be coming off the bench, you know, whether it's to kind of show up a win, you know, or whether the profile that they both have, which is pace, might be more suitable to a certain game. But I think Carrick's going to go probably with the tried and tested. And I think Yoro and Heaven will probably feature more next season. And again, it's going to be a season for both of them where they're going to have to try and establish themselves in the team next season. Because, let's face it, yeah, massive fan of Lenny Yoro, but there is doubters out there. I'm not a doubter because I rate Yoro highly, but there's doubters out there. And I think next season, he has to cement himself as one of the main starters, you know, for Man United. So, I don't think Heaven's going to play, but I think them two hopefully will get more game time, but we'll have to wait and see for that one. Big up to Derriles, says, hope you're well, Gav. Yep, I'm all good. Big up yourself. Big up. Been a mad busy day today, to be honest. But yeah, I'm all good. Hope you're well too. Looks unlikely if no quality centre-back is signed. You know what it is, yeah? I'm not really that fussed about centre-back, if I'm honest, because I'm looking at what we've got, yeah? If you take de Ligt, Yoro, Aiden Heaven, there's 3 centre-backs there. And then you've got Lissandro and Maguire, yeah? So that's 5 centre-backs. The only way I think we should go in the market for a centre-back, really, is if you're going to get rid of either Maguire or Martinez, and then you go and replace them with, you know, a top-class centre-back, really. But I think with what we've got at the moment, and you know what I mean? I'm not Maguire or Lissandro's biggest fans, but the way that Carrick has got them set up, you know, they become less of an issue. Ooh, they're taking a piss. They become less of an issue because of the setup of the team. So we do need to improve on them, don't get me wrong. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens when de Ligt comes back. But I'm more looking at us just securing Champions League football, you know, getting the money in, and then we can reinvest in this team properly in the midfield for sure. So I think that's what needs to be looked at. Keep Ugarte on the bench outside the ground. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Ugarte for me, I don't think there's any point discussing the likes of Ugarte and that anymore. My biggest problem with the likes of Ugarte and a few other players was Ruben Amorim. But the fact that Carrick's coming now, the Ugates are not really a problem, because them guys are gonna see themselves out of the club anyway. Because everyone knows Ugarte is not good enough. So it's one of them things where you can clearly tell that Carrick who he rates and who he doesn't. So the Ugarte talk really, it's not really that big of an issue for me no more, because he will get moved on at the end of the season. So, and I think that's what we need to kind of just be confident with, So he's not really a problem for me in that sense. Yeah, the Dorgu injury is a killer, because Dorgu was arguably one of our most informed players, And what I would say, I know people are clamoring now for Dorgu to be playing as a winger. For me, I'm still gonna say I want to see Dorgu as a left back, because I'm looking at the way a lot of the modern teams play, yeah, with the overlapping fullbacks, and I think with the physicality and the pace that Dorgu has, as I said, for me, I'm likening him to like a Alphonso Davies type player with the physicality and the pace. So if we could have Dorgu at left back, and then you get a inverted winger on the left hand side. This is why I'm saying to you guys, a Jadon Sancho for me would be perfect, because imagine if you've got Jadon Sancho coming in field and you've got Dorgu's pace and energy around the outside, that opens up more avenues of attack. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. But yeah, I still see Dorgu for me as a left back and someone that can play as a winger if need be, So, but we'll have to wait and see, man. But his injury, as I said, is a killer, man. And let's hope he recovers and returns back to the same kind of form, man. Because, as I said, man, he was playing very well. So, yeah, let's see. Yeah, Mainoo's going to play 100%. Kobbie Mainoo's coming straight away. And bearing in mind, this is a guy that's had no game time really under Amorim. And then Carrick's just come in, and Carrick's played him 90 minutes for both games. And not only does that show you how highly Carrick rates him, but it's obviously a testament as well to Kobbie Mainoo's fitness, because the guy's hardly played and he's just come in there and 2 very good performances, So he'll definitely start on Sunday against Fulham. Big up to Babs One Diva. Big up yourself. Big up. Don't get why United aren't all over Andre and João Gomez from Wolves. You know what, yeah? I actually touched on these two last season. I said those two, Andre and João Gomez, I said them two won't be at Wolves for too long. And the fact that they're both still there. But I think when Wolves get relegated, I think them two will move on. And again, don't have a look out for Matthias Mane, 18-year-old at Wolves. I think someone's going to take a chance on him as well, because what he's shown so far in a short space of time, he's definitely got something. I'll be very surprised if maybe a team like an Aston Villa, obviously he's playing in Birmingham already. Aston Villa isn't too far down the road. So I think if Wolves get relegated, I think the likes of that Matthias Mane, I think he'll be a very clever signing for Wolves. They could kind of, and there we go, right on cue. Villa just scored Morgan Rogers. And that's the guy I was just about to talk to you about. I think they could use Matthias Mane as kind of an alternative to Morgan Rogers. Because again, Rogers does play a lot of games. And if you can kind of rest Rogers and bring in this Matthias Mane, I think they'll be missing a trick if they don't really go for him. It's a no-brainer. The guy's playing in Birmingham already. They should kind of take a chance on him, in my opinion. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But he's a very good player. With the World Cup and key players playing for their respective countries, I just hope that we don't pick up any injuries. Yeah, but I think the problem is, you're bound to pick up injuries, really. It's one of them seasons for me. What's annoying for me, because there's a World Cup, you're just dreading the fact that, any major player could be missing. And I hope that's not the case, because, yeah, you wanna have a World Cup where all the best players are available. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Is Vert starting to show his quality? Simons too. Yeah, but listen, I think, as I said to you guys before, yeah, Florian Wirtz for me is one of my favorite players. He's one of my favorite players ever since he broke onto the Bayer Leverkusen scene, and I think him coming to Liverpool, there was obviously going to be an adaptation period for him, but the fact that he cost that amount of money, I think people were always going to get onto him, unfortunately. But I think for me, it's not even the goals, because people in this era of football now are just judging players by numbers. But I look at Florian Wirtz, and although he's been struggling, he has a consistent base of quality. And that's where I kind of look at someone like him. Because if you've got a consistent base of quality, eventually you are going to come good. And again, Liverpool as a team have been struggling. You can say they're on a decline as well. But I think with someone like Florian Wirtz, for me, even though he wasn't scoring goals, even though Liverpool were struggling, there's always bits of quality in his game. And this is why, for me, I never had any doubts about Florian Wirtz. So I wouldn't even say he's coming good, because he's always been a good player. I just think that he's starting to adapt to the league a bit more, because he isn't the most physical of players, and obviously this is a very physical league. But what it is with him is that it just took time for him to kind of, find his feet in a sense. And I think that's what he's doing now. He's adapting to the league, and he's going to get better. Xavi Simons, I'm not really a massive fan of Xavi Simons. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's special by any means. So again, I've not really watched too many of Tottenham's games, but yeah, I think he's a decent player, but I don't think he's on the level of a Florian Wirtz for me personally, But yeah, man, we'll have to wait and see how he carries on. Who you got, Teofimo or Shakur? Yeah, listen, Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. Do you know what? That's going to be a tough fight, That's a tough one, because they're two top fighters. I don't even know, It's a tough one. Who am I going to go with? Shakur Stevenson or Teofimo Lopez? You know what? I'm going to say... I don't know. I'm going to say Shakur Stevenson on points. But it could be either. It could be either, really. It could be either. But I'm going to say Shakur Stevenson on points, yeah. What about Kusanov from Man City? You know what, yeah? Kusanov, for me, I think he could be one of the top leading central defenders in Europe in the next couple of seasons. I look at what he's got now. He's got great recovery pace. He's aggressive as a defender. That might work against him sometimes. But again, the guy is only, I believe he's like, what, 20 or something like that? And I think he's got potential to grow. So, yeah, I think he's good. I think Man City have got themselves a top centre-back for me in the making. And what it is where it's a smart signing for me for Kusanov, yeah, is that, for me, you need to always have, I say always have, yeah. When you get, a centre-back that is from Bosnia or them kind of countries, yeah, them kind of defenders, they bring something different. They've got a certain hunger about them. And I think the fact that City have identified a defender like that, because let's face it, there ain't too many centre-backs that are of the descent that Kusanov is from that really come to the European leagues, you know what I mean? Or the Premier League, in a sense. I mean, the only one that I can remember of a top level is probably Nemanja Vidic, and these guys just offer something a bit different. And I think the fact that Kusanov has got that recovery pace, which is, I would say, is probably his X factor. I think in a few years he can become he can become very good, man, in my opinion. So yeah, I think he'll be good. Right, guys, let me get onto the Fulham lineup before I get back onto some more of your questions. But as always, make sure the questions and comments are coming through. Make sure you sub to the channel. Make sure you share the channel as well. But let's get onto the Fulham team, yeah, because as I said, they've got probably the most informed player in the league right now in Harry Wilson, and they've actually got a very competitive and a solid team. And to be honest with you, Marco Silva, you know, I think he's quite a good manager, if I'm honest, you know, and I think he could be someone that might be on the move with a lot of because I think we're presuming a lot of clubs will be available and a lot of managers will be as well, and I think he might be one of them. But the team that he's going to play for me, he'll play Bernd Leno in goal. You know, his defence, I think, is quite a decent defence. You know, Anthony Robinson's back in the team now, and you'll have him at left back. I think right back, it's either going to be Castagna or Kenny Tete. I think Kenny Tete plays right back, and then you've got Calvin Bassey and Joachim Anderson. Now that defence there for me, I think if Carrick plays Mbeumo through the middle, I don't think Mbeumo gets any joy, because I'm looking at the left. I'm looking at the left channel for Fulham. They've got Anthony Robinson and Calvin Bassey, two guys that are very quick and very physical. So, you know, that could be it could be a tough outing for Ahmad as well. But I think if Mbeumo, who naturally is going to drift to the right hand side anyway, if he plays through the middle, I think Bassey is going to dominate him, because if you've got Bassey that's got very good recovery pace and is physical as well, then you've got Joachim Anderson that might, you know, be physical with Mbeumo as well. That's not Mbeumo's game. So this is why I think, you know, you're going to probably need probably a central striker that can kind of hold the ball. You know, this is why I think Sesko might start. You know, as I said, I'd start Joshua Zirkzee, and I think Cunha will play from the left. So if he plays Mbeumo, I don't think this will be a game for Mbeumo, because I think Bassey and Joachim Anderson, you know, they're going to get physical with him, and you know, I think he needs a lot of space for me. So I don't see that happening. And then their midfield, you know, they got Sasa Lukic, they got Sander Berg, you know, they got Tom Kearney as well, but I think he'll be on the bench. But I think they play Sasa Lukic and Sander Berg. And then in the 10, I think they've been playing Emil Smith-Rowe. I think he'll play in the 10. And then they got Iwobi out from the left, or you got Chukwueze. You know, Adama Traore has been moved on now as well to West Ham. But they got Chukwueze, they've got Iwobi, and then they got the star man right now in Harry Wilson. And again, Harry Wilson's got 5 GA in his last 5 games. You know, he's got 8 Premier League goals at the moment. You know, and he'll be the guy to watch out for, because it wouldn't even surprise me, man, if they score a goal, it comes from him, because he's in that kind of form, you know, in the form of his life. And then they've got Raul Jimenez as the striker. And to be honest with you, that's a solid team from Fulham, you know. And again, if Fulham win, then Fulham shoot all the way up to 1 point behind United. But obviously dependent on other results as well. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult, man. Difficult game. But I think if United can kind of set up in the same way from the midfield to defence, and then try and be a bit more expansive in the front line, you know, I think we'll have too much for Fulham. But I don't think it's going to be a 3-0 game. You know, I think we could win by the odd goal, because I think Fulham under Silva, you know, they're quite a resilient team, you know, and they're quite hard to break down. And I think, as we know in Man United, you know, with the low block, when they play up against low blocks, the team tend to struggle. So I just hope that, you know, Carrick can kind of be a bit more expansive in the front line, you know, because, as I say, I think too many times they've been playing, well, not to say too many times, but I think against City and Arsenal, you know, they were more on the counter-attack, in my opinion. So I want to see us at Old Trafford controlling the game, you know, and we have to see how he sets up for me. But when will Man United next finish above Arsenal in the league? I predict 2033. Well, listen, if we get in the midfielders that we know that we need for next season, we finish above Arsenal next season. You've heard it here now, yeah. If we keep Carrick as the manager, if that's because he's done a good job, or if we go and get a top coach and we improve that midfield, next season we finish above Arsenal. I promise you, because we're not a million miles away from Arsenal. You know, it looked like that because of the manager that we had in charge. But we're not a million miles away from Arsenal. I promise you. I promise you, we're not a million miles away from Arsenal. I mean, the league table might suggest that, but if we just go and recruit properly and we get rid of the players that we need to, I'm telling you this now, we finish above them next season. I promise you. Villa 2-2. Tyrone Mings making up for the mistake. Yeah, clearly onside. 2-2. Yeah, speaking of Villa, I am reading about Real Madrid approaching Emery as next manager. Yeah, I see that. You know what? I'll be honest with you, man. I would like Emery to turn that down, if I'm honest, because personally, I think he could be taking his Villa team to regularly being in the Champions League. You know, they're at the moment they're in the conversation for a title as well. You know, I know they've lost Tillemans now for. I think Tillemans is missing for what 8 to 10 weeks, same as Patrick Dorgu, I think. You know, John McGinn's out, Kamara's out for the season. You know, they brought in Douglas Luiz, which is you know what? The fact they brought Douglas Luiz in is a very good signing, because Douglas Luiz was arguably their key midfielder before he left for Juventus. And obviously since then they brought in Anana, you know, Tillemans, Kamara's come through as well. So they've got a very good midfield, Aston Villa. But now that obviously they've brought him in because a few players are out injured. You know, Leon Bailey's come back as well from loan. Harvey Elliott's playing now as well. They've got Tammy Abraham in. You know, I think they've got a good chance, man, to kind of do something serious this season with the league. You know, 4 points behind City. Behind Arsenal, sorry, with City. So, yeah, man, I think definitely they just need to, you know, I would say, because I think Mateta's going to Forest. And I think that, I'm surprised Villa didn't really push out for Mateta. I know they got Tammy Abraham and Ollie Watkins, but that would have shown intent, man, if they wouldn't have got him as well. But let's see. Hey, Gav, I got a few questions before I have to go. Yeah, big up to Wyeth, man. If you're still in the chat, then big up yourself. If not, then, yeah, I'm going to it now. Top 3 summer signing priorities ranked. So, top 3 summer signing priorities. So, for me, we need 2 central midfielders as a minimum. So, you know, I've said it time and time again, and I think we've signed them anyway. Baleba needs to be the main target for me. And I think Baleba... that deal's already been done for me. And then the next midfielder, obviously, is between Wharton and Anderson. Now, I don't think we're going to get either one of them for me, because I think City, Liverpool, I think they're going to probably get one of them at least. And what I would say is, yeah, I would take Baleba, Wharton. But I think Baleba needs to, I mean, there's a lot of people saying that Anderson or Wharton should be the main target, but I disagree. Because I think we do need a controller in the midfield, but we've got a Kobe Mainoo there. But I think we need to get someone with energy and someone that is a box to box as well, but can do both roles, and that's why I think Baleba can do that. And obviously Baleba's left footed. And then if you want to get Anderson, then cool. Baleba, Anderson, Kobe Mainoo, them guys as the options in midfield, I'm cool with that. I would like Wharton, but I just don't see us getting Wharton. But yeah, we need to get definitely 2 central midfielders. And then the third one's difficult, because the fact that we're playing the 4-2-3-1, which can go into a 4-3-3 or the other way around, You know, a lot of it's dependent on the players we get rid of, because I've said this time and time again. For me, we're not going to do all the business that we need to do in one window, but Bruno Fernandes, Manuel Ugarte, Mason Mount, either Lissandro or Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, these guys need to be moved on, and then we just reinvest, you know, in that area. You know, imagine if you could get rid of a Bruno Fernandes, you know, push Kobe up and let Kobe play more as a 10, you know, or play Ahmad in there or Cunha or whoever, and then you go and buy 2 up-and-coming central midfielders. You go and get Baleba, Walton, Baleba, Anderson, you know, or if you can't get if you can't get Walton and Anderson, you get Baleba. You know, you might go in for a Lamine Kamara or a Angelo Stiller. You know, I think that's where we need to be looking at. But definitely 2 central midfielders, and then the third one, probably. It depends, because I'm looking at what's his name, Dorgu as a left back still. But then if people are saying Dorgu is more preferred as a winger, then you might be looking at a left back, you know. But I just think that the midfield is what we need to sort out. I think once you sort the midfield out and you let go of some players, you will kind of know what you're working with. So that's what I'm kind of focusing on now. Carrick staying with a top 4 or 5 finish. If we get Champions League and we continue playing good football, then it's going to be very hard to get rid of Carrick. That's what I'm going to say. You know, there is managers out there that I would like, but I don't think we can disregard Carrick if he does what is asked of him in terms of getting the Champions League football and playing good football and playing the players that we all want to see really play. So, yeah. Number 1 transfer target for me, Carlos Baleba. I've been saying Baleba for years. Obviously, for me, the dream is Camavinga. I mean, if we could get Camavinga, I'll tell you now, I could do a 24-hour stream with Camavinga's name on it, because I've wanted Camavinga for years. And, you know, if there's any kind of possibility of us getting Camavinga, that should be the number 1 signing. But I don't think that's going to happen. So for me, good play. So for me, the number 1 target for me should be Baleba for me. And I think the Baleba deal's done anyway, you know, and then we have to go and improve after that. Guehi has been a good choice for City, and I think they will get Anderson. Yeah, Guehi is a good player though. You know, Guehi, Semenyo, getting those 2 in the transfer window is good business, man. And that's why I believe City go on and win the league. You know, City haven't been that great this season, but they'll get the job done when they need to. And the fact that, you know, they're 4 points behind, you know, their next game is against Tottenham, you know, which they haven't got a great record against them. But this is where you're going to see City come alive, because City win games when they need to. And I think this is why they're going to put the pressure on Arsenal. And can Villa hang in there, you know, and we'll see what happens. United have got Lamens, Dalot, Maguire, Martinez, Shaw, Casemiro, Mainoo, Ahmad, Bruno, Cunha, and Mbeumo. Yeah, I think that's probably the team he probably plays, if I'm honest. You know, I think that's the team he probably plays. Let's see. Shirley Bassey, you know. Big up to Mike. Yeah, big up Mike. Yeah, the Mateta to Forest, I don't really get that one. But guys, remember what I said yesterday? Don't forget about Igor Jesus. I think that guy, I think he could be on the move in the window. The fact that Mateta is looking like he's going there, I wouldn't be surprised if you know, if someone puts a bid in for that Igor Jesus. Because I think that guy's got something, that Igor Jesus. He's definitely got something. I reckon we have a chance to get Walton. Yeah, listen, we have got a chance, but I don't know. I just got a feeling Walton goes to Man City. I think everything is crying out for Walton to go Man City for me. You know, if they're looking at someone that can be the long-term replacement for a Rodri, then I think if you're looking at Premier League proven, then you can look no further than Adam Wharton for me. But I would love Man United to get Wharton, but I just can't see it, man. I don't know. I can't see it at the moment. I think a lot of it is going to be dependent on Champions League football. If we get Champions League football, then I'll be more confident of going in for Wharton. But I just don't know if... Again, I don't know if City have done the groundwork on him already. I don't know if he would prefer a move there. But, yeah, it's mad. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I really can't see Baleba join us. This saga has been going on for too long. Yeah, I hear it, but I think the Baleba deal's already been done. I think the Baleba one's going to be a summer signing. He'll be the... I think once the season's done, because let's not forget, Cameroon are not going to the World Cup. I think once the season's done, that deal's going to get wrapped up for me. You know, I think that's already been sorted out. You know, Hayden Hackney, and as a third option, he was coached by Carrick. Yeah, Hayden Hackney is at Middlesbrough right now under Carrick before. I think Hayden Hackney's not really going to happen, if I'm honest, because if we're looking at two central midfielders, you know, for me personally, it's got to be between Baleba, Anderson, and Wharton. And if we get one of them, the next one for me cannot be Hackney, you know, and I'm looking at a Hackney, yeah, maybe as a fourth choice. Good finish. Good finish. 3-2 Villa. Yeah, I'm looking at a Hackney as a fourth option. But then what I would say, if you've got the likes of Sekou Kone, yeah, that's been brought through, why would you bring in Hackney when he hasn't been given a chance, Sekou Kone? You know, surely you want to, you know, get a return on your investment and kind of bring him through rather than you know, going to get a Hackney, because Hackney for me can't be brought in as the second or third option for me. But I do like him. I do think he's good. Does Camavinga even start for Madrid now? Yeah, he does. When he's fit, he starts. But it's, again, the big question mark is his injury record, you know, and I'm just hoping he can stay fit, because he's one of the best midfielders in the world when he's fit, man. But yeah, when he's fit, he starts. He does. You know, you got him, Chouameni, Valverde. You know, they're all central midfielders that can all occupy that position. You know, but yeah, he's a top player for me, man, 100%. Forest 3-0 up and Jesus with a brace. Yeah, listen, I told you, man, this Igor Jesus guy, man, he's going to be sought after, I believe, come the end of the season. You know, he's a good player, man. He is, for Nottingham Forest. Good player. Guys, what's your predictions for the game on Sunday? Man United Fulham. I'm gonna go with a Man United 2-1 win. I'm gonna say 2-1 Man United. Let me know your predictions. The way I see it is Baleba first, Wharton / Anderson, then a third option midfielder. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to see, Mike. Exactly what I want to see. You know, I know there's a few people out there that will have that the other way around, but for me, Baleba needs to be number one choice, and then, you know, between Wharton and Anderson, and then if you could get a third choice, you know, I wouldn't even mind a Lamine Camara from Monaco. I think he's a good player, Lamine Camara. But again, if you look at our midfield options, Kobe's there, Casemiro's going, Ugarte should go. So that will mean we need definitely 3 midfielders to go with Kobe. You know, and again, Baleba, Wharton. If you get a Baleba and a Wharton to go with Kobe, you definitely need to go and get another one that is happy to just, you know, be a squad player in a sense. But then, as I say, when you got Sekou Kone there as well, what's going to happen to him? And obviously, there might be some other players from the youth that might make the step up as well. So, we'll have to wait and see. Mike's going 3-0 United. 3-0 United. Nah, I'm not going to say 3-0 United. I think don't rule out Fulham, man. Fulham are a decent team. And again, in attack, they've got some threats, man. Chukwueze, Iwobi, obviously Starman, Harry Wilson, Raul Jimenez as well. He can hold the ball up. So yeah, I wouldn't be saying 3-0 to United. I would love 3-0, but I think it's going to be a tight game. I think 2-1 United at home. If we were away, I would still say by the odd goal. I don't think we're going to go there and beat them 3-0 personally, in my opinion. So Beleva will be done first because the groundwork was already done in the summer for that deal. I agree. Yeah, I think that's already done. I think it's just about end of the season. We're not going to get him in January. End of the season, I think we're going to wrap that up for me personally. So it's just about working on the Wharton and Anderson. But maybe they've already chosen where they want to go. Who knows? But I think it's important as well to look at possibilities if we don't get Wharton and Anderson. If anyone's seen my stream the other day, I talked about the alternatives. Lamine Camara, Angelo Stiller, and Felix Lemaitre. I think they're three players that should probably be looked at as the alternatives. Christopher McGrath says 2-2 or 3-2, tight game. The odd goal may win it. Yeah, I think it's going to be a 2-1 game. I'm not sure if it's going to be a high scoring game like that, 3-2. I think a 2-1. I like Ederson from Atalanta. Yeah, you know what? The last I heard, Ederson was linked with Aston Villa. So when Kamara got injured, there was links from Ederson to Villa. And I like Ederson, but I don't know if that boat sailed already. I don't know. But he'll be a good signing for Villa, but because of Kamara. But again, when Kamara gets back from injury, they're going to be stacked in that midfield. So, and how much is Ederson going to cost now as well? That's the thing. Yeah, big up to Simon, man. Big up. Have a good weekend, man, as well. Or a good Friday, should I say. I hope we sell Dallo and others after the Beleba deal and go for Eric Garcia. That's a surprising one. I mean, Eric Garcia is formerly of Man City as well, so I'm not sure if that happens. But I mean, you'd want Eric Garcia to be playing in midfield? I don't think Eric Garcia is not a guy that I'd like to target, if I'm honest. And I don't know if Barcelona let him go personally. I'm not too sure. Dallo's performance has dropped. Yeah, but the thing is with Dallo, yeah, if Dallo is happy to be a backup right back to Mazraoui, I haven't really got a problem with Dallo, because obviously he's a problem that I don't think is that important to address, because if you've got Mazraoui as the first choice and then Dallo backing him up, you can get away with that, because Dallo can come in and do a job. But for me, the midfield is where we need to definitely be targeting, 100%. 3-1. Wilson makes something happen, but I think we will get a few. Yeah, big up Fitz. 3-1. Yeah, I hear it. I just don't know. I just don't know if because I'm telling you now, Fulham are not a team to be slept on, man. I'm telling you. I just think that Fulham are not going to set up to be expansive, I don't think, in the first half. And, they've got players with pace as well in their team. You think of Chukwueze, Iwobi, Jimenez and Harry Wilson aren't that quick. But, these guys can create something out of nothing, especially like Harry Wilson. So, I don't think they're going to be too gung-ho in the first half. So, that's why I'm going for a narrow win. Now, if we beat them 3-0, 3-1, then yeah, listen, that'll be something, man. And we have to be looking at Michael Carrick seriously, because these are the kind of games that I'm looking at Carrick now. Because against City and Arsenal, them kind of games can't take care of themselves, But what I would say is these games are home to Fulham, because Fulham are not going to be an easy team to beat, Livramento would be the long term. Yeah, but we're not getting Livramento, man. We're not going to get Livramento. I think, again, if anyone remembers, Man City were chasing Livramento, and I don't see us getting Livramento. I think Livramento, if he does leave Newcastle, it's either going to be to Man City, or if, let's say, if Liverpool wanted to, you know, bring in another right back. But I can't see us getting him. I can't see it. I mean, he's a very good player. And let's not forget as well, yeah, Livramento is a former Chelsea player, which is crazy. The amount of players that Chelsea have coming through their youth, yeah, is madness. Newcastle have got... the funny thing is, Newcastle have got Chelsea's academy fullbacks in Lewis Hall and Livramento, which is crazy. And again, Lewis Hall's a very good player, you know, but I can't see us getting either one of them. Not for mad money. If we're looking at, you know, Liverpool paying 150 mil for Isak, I think Lewis Hall and Livramento, I think the bidding probably is nothing less than 80 mil as a starting bid. So, yeah, man. I would love both of them players, but I can't see that happening. Did you see that performance versus Inter? From who? From who? Mazraoui and Dalot are backup levels in a winning team. I disagree. I think if we're looking in the Premier League, yeah, for me, there's only 2 right backs in the league that you could probably argue and say is better than Mazraoui. And that's Reece James and probably Yuri Timber. Apart from that, Mazraoui's up there with any other right back in the league. So I think Mazraoui can be part of a Premier League winning side. And let's not forget as well, this is a guy that used to be at Bayern Munich winning league titles. So, yeah, I wouldn't say Mazraoui's a backup. I think Dalot, maybe, but not Mazraoui for me. I think Mazraoui definitely is a starting right back. You know, as I said, Reece James and Yuri Timber are probably the only ones that I would say can chat to Mazraoui. I think everyone else, you know, he's better than. The big question is, will you be able to replicate City and Guna's performance without Ballon Dorgu? Yeah, we should do, man. We're Manchester United. You know what I mean? We should do. Dorgu's been in very good form. But yeah, we should be at home confident after the last 2 games and just dispatching of Fulham. Again, it's not going to be easy, but you know, we have to go to that game and just win the game, man. Simple as. You know, and guys, make sure you check out my what's the name? My stream on Patrick Dorgu, Patrick Evra Dorgu. Is he more Patrick Evra Dorgu or is he more Alphonso Davies? I think he's more Alphonso Davies personally. You know, with the physicality. Liverpool, laugh out loud. Arsenal fans really think they are getting Musiala. Yeah. Well, I'm not quite sure how they're going to get him, yeah, when he's signed a new contract for 1. He's now their number 10 for 2. He just come back off injury for 3. And he wants to win titles for 4. So, yeah, that's not going to happen, is it? Let's be honest. And thank you for saving football with that 3-2 demolition job. But, bro, listen, man. I was saying it all week. We're going to beat Arsenal. You know, we don't... When we need to win games like that, you know, we don't stutter. And what I would say, you know, having watched Arsenal play this season, it's criminal to football to see them guys top. So we're not going to get beat by a team like that. And as I said, them guys are not winning no Premier League title, man. I've said this for time. You know, they're not winning it. Or the Champions League. Eric Garcia versus Inter when he played right back. Oh, what? In the Champions League last season? Where they capitulated? I mean, Eric Garcia, formerly of Man City, you know, centre-back, plays in midfield now, can play right-back. Obviously come through the La Masia Academy, the La Masia Academy as well. I think he's a decent player, but I don't want him at Man United, I'll be honest. Are you Gooners? No, Manchester United fans. But we're always here for the Arsenal slander. Don't worry about that. You want to slander Arsenal? Come on here, man, because their fans, they just talk too much, man. So we have to give it to them every now and again. So 4 times runner-up this season and lost all the competition. Yeah, and their fans will tell you that Mikel Arteta is the second coming of Pep Guardiola and Carlo Ancelotti combined. That's how deluded they are, man. So yeah, we can't take them guys seriously, man. We just let them chat, and then they'll be their own undoing. So we'll just let them chat. Right, guys, we're going to wrap it up in 5 minutes. So, yeah, make sure you get your questions and comments coming through. And make sure you sub to the channel. Make sure you smash the like button. And make sure you share the channel as well. Second coming of Pulis. I hear it. I hear it. Stoke City, man. I hear it. I don't understand the hate for Maz. Him and Hakimi. Oh, yeah, him and Hakimi are carrying Morocco on their backs. Yeah, listen. I think people probably just don't like Mazraoui for one way or another, but Mazraoui is a top player, man. He is. You know, he should be our starting right back. And again, if you sell Mazraoui, realistically, what right backs are out there that Man United could get? There's not really anyone, really. You know, you're not going to get Reece James. You're not going to get Hakimi. And because Reece James and Hakimi, for me, are the 2 best right backs in the world right now. And then after that, you've got Timber. You've got Mazraoui. You know, obviously Carvajal's been out injured. Jules Koundé is actually a centre-back, but obviously plays right-back. You know, there ain't really too many right-backs, man, of top level. So when you've got a Mazraoui, you know, there's actually a right-back. I like Jed Spence as well, you know, but there's actually a right-back. I can't remember who he plays for. I'm not sure if he's at Roma. Brazilian called Wesley. I think he's going to be good. I actually signed him on my FIFA, actually, Wesley. Blonde hair, he's got blonde hair, right back. He's very, very good, very quick as well for a right back. You know, so he might be one to look out for if anyone's heard of him. Guys, what do you reckon is going to be the key battle for this Man United and Fulham game? I'm going to say the key battle for me. I'm looking forward to watching. What's his name? I'm looking forward to watching Harry Wilson up against Luke Shaw on that right hand side for Fulham, because I think Luke Shaw's got the physicality to he's got the physicality to dominate Wilson, but Wilson's a smart player, and again, you know, if you give Wilson time to shoot, he's going to cause problems. But I'm looking at that as one of the key areas. Again, if Dalot plays, yeah, and Fulham play Chukwueze, I think Chukwueze could give Dalot problems with his pace. You know, Raul Jimenez up against Harry Maguire and Lissandro, you know, will be a good battle. Again, that'll be a physical battle because Jimenez is good in the air, but then so is Harry Maguire. So I think they'll be the key battles in the game. But I think if Man United don't play a central striker, I just don't know, because Calvin Bassey, to be fair, is you know, he's a problem. He's a physical centre back and he's got pace. So that could be a bit of a problem for Mbeumo if Carrick starts him through the middle. I can't understand Arteta. He's 6 years coaching and relies on corner and luck to win every match. But yeah, listen, that's because the fact that he's got to 7 years as an Arsenal manager and has an FA Cup to show for it, which wasn't with his team, Unai Emery's team, it's laughable, really. And this is why, you know, if he doesn't win the major trophies, the Champions League or the Premier League, then, I mean, what's going to be the excuses for keeping him? So, but yeah, listen, they're Yeah, that's Arsenal just not serious, man. They can't be serious when the majority of their fans are still backing Arteta. You know, it's mad. It's mad. But that's them for you. Casemiro and Smith Rowe. Yeah, that would be a good battle. That'd be a good battle. Yeah, that'd be a good battle. To be fair, Smith Rowe is a good, very good player, man. You know, I think for me, you know, Arsenal should never have sold Smith Rowe. I know he suffered a couple of injuries, but they should never have sold Smith Rowe. You know, Smith Rowe is more talented than Saka, but obviously Saka's been given the flowers really. So United are always play good versus big teams. The real challenge is versus low blocks team when United are control possession. I agree. This will be the test, and the best way to break a low block, yeah, is by having players that are, you know, good in tight situations, you know, good on the ball, and the key to it is moving the ball quickly, you know. But in order for you to move the ball quickly, you need to have as many technical sound players on the pitch as possible. So this will be the test, and this is why I'm saying to you, he needs to play Benjamin Sesko if he's the only central striker that's available, because to play Mbeumo's not a link man. So Mbeumo's going to be looking for the balls in behind. And if you're going to play up against a low block, you need players that can pivot in front of the defence, hold the ball, and allow your creative players to kind of get onto the ball and start breaking the lines from there. You know, whether it's through skill, you know, or from passing. And that's what needs to happen. So I just hope Carrick sees that, man, and doesn't go with Mbeumo through the middle, because I think that could be a problem, if I'm honest. But we'll have to wait and see, man. I think there ain't too much fault, man, you're going to find with Carrick, man. The guy's come in 2 games, you know, 2 of the toughest games you would probably say for a United manager to have. And he's disposed of both teams with ease. So, yeah, listen, I trust Carrick to play the right team. I do trust him to play the right team. Fulham are just flying under the radar for me, and a few more high profile. We will see them hit the headlines. So don't make this game banana skin, guys. Yeah, listen, I think it's going to be a bit of a tough game. You know, I'm going to say an odd goal 2-1. Maybe a 1-0, who knows? But I don't think we're going to run away with it and batter them 3-0. I think that's going a bit too far, because Fulham, I mean, they've come from nowhere. And as I said, if Fulham win the game, they're only a point behind us. So, and who would have thought that? You know, let's look at the results from Fulham's last 4 games, actually. So they got 5 points from their last 4 games. Obviously, the 5th game they played the other day, which they won. So obviously it'll be 8 points from 5. But so they drew 1-1 with Palace, 2-2 with Liverpool, beat Chelsea 2-1, and lost 1-0 to Leeds. And again, Leeds at home are no joke. So good luck Arsenal, because they're no joke. And obviously United's last 4 games, obviously under Emery, 1-1 with Leeds, under Fletcher, 2-2 with Burnley, and then with Carrick, 2-0 City, and then 3-2 against Arsenal. So yeah, both teams come into this, you know, in quite similar form. United have had 8 points in their last 4 games. And then, again, if you want to say Fulham with the 5 games, they've had 8 points in their last 5 games. So, yeah, man, it's quite an equal footing, really. So, we'll have to wait and see. But, guys, big up yourselves anyway. Going to wrap it up. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you sub to the channel. Make sure you share the channel as well. And, guys, go ahead and check out my other content. So, I've been doing a Great to the Game, you know, which is the Legends of the Game. Make sure you guys go and check that out. There's a couple that come out today. I think it was, in the morning, it was Gabriel Batistuta. If anyone remembers Gabriel Batistuta or Batty Goal, what a striker he was. And then tonight was Marcelo. So, again, I think I've done about 8 or 10 that have come out. So make sure you go and check that in my playlist. It's under Greats of the Game. And also as well, check out my my Next Gen 50. you know, so check out my Next Gen 50. So it's the best 50 young players in world football. Again, there's not every player on there. So if there's any players that you guys would like me to talk about, then yeah, feel free to message me in the comments and let me know what players you want me to talk about, whether it's Next Gen 50 or Greats of the Game. But yeah, go and check it out. It's only 10 minutes on each player I talk about. And as I said, I've got a few more to come out. But on there so far is Ronaldinho, R9, the real Ronaldo, Zidane, Pavel Nedved, Francesco Totti, Alessandro Del Piero, Batistuta, Thierry Henry, Adriano, the Emperor, and Marcelo. And again, I've got a few more to do. I've got a big list that I'm working through. So, yeah, make sure you guys go and check that out and let me know in the comments what you think. Big up to all the mods each and every time. Big up yourselves. And as I said, I should be back. I'm not sure tomorrow yet. If I am back tomorrow, it's going to be an evening one. Probably similar time. I'm not too sure yet. But if not tomorrow, then definitely be back on Saturday. And obviously Sunday, I'll do the reaction to the Man United game versus Fulham, where hopefully we'll pick up the 3 points. So let's see what happens. But if I don't see you guys, have a good weekend, you know. And obviously we're in a good vibe at the moment with Manchester United. Thank God. If only Arsenal knew what that felt like, you know. But it is what it is, guys. So yeah, big up yourselves. Check out all the content. As I said, it's under the playlist of Greats of the Game, Next Gen 50. Smash the likes, sub to the channel, share the channel. And yeah, guys, I'll catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy.